Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will have a walkthrough of the user data management in the WordPress database tables, which are additionally created when you set up or create a network site. If you open up the WP users table, you can see the RT admin user added to the main site. If we navigate to the user in the WP dashboard, you can see the user here as well. A natural question that arises is how we can identify that particular user is added on which sites, like which sites access they have, including the role. Now, this is another user, RT user, and its ID is 6. So if I go to the WP user meta table and filter out using the ID 6, you can see the WP2 capabilities and WP2 user level. So this WP2 capabilities has the administrator role. This user meta key is used to identify which site this user has access to. So WP2 means the user has access to the second site. Similarly, let's see what happens if I add the same user to another site. For example, let's go to a site here and go to the second site, go to the dashboard, go to the users, add new user, and I will add an existing user because the user is already present in the network. I will search for RT user and I will add this user as an editor. I'm skipping the confirmation and let's click on add existing user. Now, if you see, the user has been added with the editor role in the third site with the site ID 3. And if I refresh the database, now you can see that WP3 capabilities has an editor role and user level is 7 for editor role. So based on this prefix, WordPress identifies whether the user has access to the site. This is the way this user meta key information is used to determine the access of the sites for the users. Adding to this for all other dashboard related meta information as well. WordPress will use this prefix to display the dashboard settings. For example, let's say a user has hidden some meta boxes. Let me hide the quick draft and welcome meta boxes from the dashboard. My user has hidden it on site 2. And if I refresh the DB, you can see using metabox hidden dashboard key and those options have been saved. So these are the different rows for a particular site. Moreover, there could be chances that a multi-site network setup has registered custom user roles that are only available for that particular site. Then based on this options table, it can be identified. Other than that, all the network settings and specific site settings will be stored in the options table of individual sites. You can also register the users. If I navigate to network settings, you can see the registration settings. Currently, the allow new registration is disabled by default. Now I will allow user accounts may be registered and save changes. WordPress has a file called wp-signup.php. This is a page used for user registrations. This is available only on the multi-site setup and not in the single site setup. If I refresh now, you can see that you can register the users to the multi-site setup network. I will also include the wp-signup.php file. Let's add another user, rtuser2. The user will get an activation email. Now, if I go to the database and go to WP signups, I can see that this user has been signed up and this is the activation key which will be used to validate the registration. Now, let's validate the user. I'm using MailPit so that I can capture the emails my local site are sending. Here you can see this email and if I activate it, then your account is now active. This is the password with which the user can log in. There are also options to allow the users to create a site. Similarly, there are a couple of settings you can see here. That is, logged in users may register new sites. Both sites and user accounts can be registered. That's all about the database overview and how the user data is stored. After watching this video, you can go through your local setup's WordPress database and its tables and see how things are configured in the database. What is the database table schema? Try to understand all the settings, how they are stored in their respective tables and in which format. Parallelly, you can explore the WordPress code base to understand the code better. A quick look in the WP includes folder and you can probably find multi-site setup related functions. For example, msblocks.php contains functions that work with the blocks in the table. So you can find out some of the functions related to multi-site setup here. The ms in this file stands for multi-site. These are the constant and everything you can find out is used. Read about different filters applied in these files and ms functions. These are the functions get site stats, get active block for user, and there are multiple functions out there that you can use in your plugins. You can get information about the block meta. Using switch to block function, you can access another site's database instance within a current code and fetch the data from other sites. You can also create sites programmatically. You can just go through the ms prefix files which contain functions for the multi-site setup related information. That's all for this video. I will highly encourage you to go through the core code base to understand more about this multi-site setup and how WordPress works with the database structure we learned. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Jai WordPress!